Alrighty, as we wait for a few people to come in here, I'm going to put this out. Give me a few seconds, guys. Ben will be here in just a little bit. He's on Benzinga's show right now, so it's just me at the moment. Hang tight, and then we will start doing some live trading. Just making a tweet real quick. All right, I think we have someone here. I think it's Ben. All right, let's bring. You want to share?
All right. What's up? Are we live to the world?
Yeah, we are live to the world, Ben.
Let's do it.
You want to share your screen? I'm just making a tweet here real quick.
Oh yeah, let me share my screen. Let's see. I'm gonna fix that background. Put this one here. What a day, huh?
Yeah,
Kevin
great.
Robinson, thank you for reposting the stream. Let's hit everyone on our Discord. And
I already hit everyone, so
let's ask everyone to repost it. Let's get a nice audience for this. We're going to be live here with you probably through about 1 p.m. And right in smack in the middle of that, we're going to be interviewing the CEO of SNES Tech again. Every time we've interviewed the CEO of SNES Tech, it's been a major market mover because he comes with the goods. And it looks like he came with some goods this morning. Home Depot deal. I don't know if I would call it a deal, but they're now available on homedepot.com, their product. Hopefully, we're going to find out, but that may be a harbinger of getting into the Home Depot physical stores, which would really be a game changer. So I'm going to really drill him on that, find out much more about how that relationship evolved and what could be coming next. And there's a lot of other stuff I want to ask him, but what a morning, guys. I mean, if you just listen to us on Benzinga, I'm not going to repeat everything. I'm just like, this is a live trading show. We're all over AEO right now. I was all over it. Unfortunately, I reduced my position yesterday after 2 red candles. Godfather got us back in, piped into this. AEO, we just broke 1902, the high of day on September 5th. I think 1950 is your next target. Got a big position in my retirement account. And at this point right now in my trading account, 14% position. I've been averaging up all day, right, on AEO. So it's actually I think it might be besides IWM. IWM currently is my largest position for the day, followed by American Eagle. So we're looking at that.
Yeah, it looks like the market QQQ wants to come back down here and test 581.60. I mean, as we see, we're pushing down now.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like my early morning note was, even with a PPI that came in negative, looks like I had the right idea early in the morning, where I basically said this initial, whatever the initial move is, and I said it would be violent. And let me get it, because that was like so accurate, ridiculous. Here's what I said on, and let me pull this up. Okay, in a morning note today in the macro area, this morning brings PPI 8:30 a.m. followed by CPI tomorrow 8:30. Meanwhile, jobs data was revised lower by nearly 1 million jobs for the 12 months ending March 2025, fueling expectations for rate cuts. All right, but what did I put? I put where is the note I put in here about this? Okay. Today's PPI may spark a move. Oh, I removed the word violent. I had violent in there initially. But we expect any reaction to fade as traders wait on CPI. I should have I have such great advice in my newsletters, and then I get distracted by the price action or the heat of the day. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I know CPI that matters, but how do you come in negative? That's great. That might be a harbinger of things to come. So I'm like, let me pile into IWM. But really, the test is going to be CPI tomorrow anyway. Let's head back to the top picks. For those who are not familiar, I write this, and we have a lot of content now. It's not just me. We have so many analysts now It's on the Godfather knows, laptop travel. We have Dougie Fresh Picks. Dougie Fresh Picks and Laptop Travel, they release their own documents every day. Unbelievable, a lot of work. This is my document I release every day for, following my official trade account, which is up about 490% year to date, up 5% yesterday versus SPY, up 0.23%. Little walkthrough. You can see how it works. We have performance update, macro discussion, Trump world. Wow. I don't know. I haven't talked about it, but this is what I hate most about my late evenings and early mornings. I write this late at night and early in the morning at 5 a.m. I wake up at 5 a.m. to write this. I get it out by 6:45 a.m. I do like an hour of work the night before. And it takes me 2 to 3 hours to write this. But the hardest part of this, which I hate with a passion, is this section called Trump World, because there's so much shit happening all the time. And I have to figure out, like, this document's going to be 100 pages if I leave the old stuff in it. And then I have to make decisions every day what to remove. And then also just finding everything that happened is also freaking challenge to find out everything that happened. I'm sure I missed stuff. I mean, it's just so prolific. And, all these things can really impact the market. So I hate this more than anything, is the Trump world section. And then we get into the proximal catalyst section, which honestly, I think is the most valuable part of the newsletter. People like the top trade ideas. Great. I do my best to give you top trade ideas and generally works out. But this proximal catalyst section, it gives you everything you need to know to arm yourself to take trades. I may write about some inflection point catalysts up here, and might not make it into the top trade ideas just because I'm not familiar with the company, but you might be familiar with it. There's a lot of value packed in this proximal catalyst section. Our whole philosophy on markets is that markets are efficient, and therefore, because markets are efficient, when you have a delta of information, you have a delta in price. I aim for rapid re-ratings in stocks, 1 to 2 day re-ratings in stocks proximal to a catalyst, whether it's about to happen in the next 1 or 2 days, or whether it's just happened in the past 1 or 2 days. That's the philosophy and impetus behind my whole trading strategy. And I think it's probably unique. I think most communities out there, most traders, they're looking at things much more quantitatively, looking at charts, looking for risk reward lines, looking for technical supports, trying to buy low, sell high. Most of the time, in fact, based on this strategy, I'm buying high and selling higher, because I'm buying an inflection point catalyst. You might get an initial 3, 4, 5% move on a stock. In the case of Oracle, 30% move. And then if you interpret the impact of that catalyst correctly, do some math on the impact on fundamentals, understand the market psychology, the impact of the catalyst on sentiment. Then you look at the chart and you triangulate where the technical resistances are. That's what I do here. That lends itself a lot of times to buying high and selling higher rather than trying to buy the dips and sell the rips, which is what 90% of other people do. But anyway, with this strategy, I'm up 500% year to date, pretty much, almost. I think it'll be 500% by end of the day today. In any case, I think this is the most valuable part. Folks who just jump right down to the top trade ideas, actually encourage you to spend an extra couple minutes and read this proximal catalyst section, because there might be something in there that really speaks to you, a stock that you really understand. And, you take a look at that, whatever it is I'm writing about it, Apple or Hood or whatever, and be like, wow, GameStop, this really speaks to me. I have experience trading this stock, or this particular, nugget that Ben wrote in here about the catalyst. I recognize that as something really important. I want to be all over that. So I'm empowering you to make your own decisions. But, I'm very transparent about my own trade ideas. Almost everything I trade is documented here. Okay. If it's not documented here, then it's updated in the Discord, because this comes out at 6:45 a.m. every morning. But then I spelled advisable wrong here. Let's fix that. All right. So after 6:45 a.m., then you have the news feed from 7 a.m., 7:30, 8, 8:30. So, and then we have a pre-market show at 9 a.m. So all of this is subject to change. And then if there are changes, we either talk about it on live stream or I'll put it in the Discord. So I'm transparent pretty much with every trade I take. And then I'll show you my positions here. You can see I wish I kept more hymns. I sold all the hymns at 9:30 a.m. or 9, whenever the news came out. Made a little bit of money. Could have made much more if I held it. See, I had a big position in GameStop overnight, position AOE. MSauce not working today. Man, I was up a lot on MSauce yesterday. Should have sold more. But in any case, you see all my positions here. Man, I made a lot of money on UNH calls yesterday. I ended up keeping just 3 contracts, which I think are down today, but I had like 17 contracts, giving back some today. I should have just stepped away, Rhett. Anyway, this is the structure of our morning note. There's another section here, which is getting really long. At some point, I have to clean it up. But basically, when we get the new catalyst coming in to this list, I'll take the old catalyst and I'll truncate it into just a few words, and I'll put it in the recent catalyst section, and I'll omit things that I don't think are too important. I try to keep that to be the higher, more important catalyst to keep this list as short as possible. And then we have this recent inflection, which AEO's there, but to be honest with you, got to add Oracle. I mean, I haven't fully kept this up. There's things I'm missing here. There's been so many inflection catalysts this year, and I've missed a few, I'm sure. But we have this section of recent inflection points as well. Anyway, this is extremely valuable. Not only does it take 2 to 3 hours a day to write, but I have to monitor markets all day long as well. And I'm constantly taking key catalysts throughout the day and throwing it in their news channel in the Discord. So there's an additional hours and hours to keep all the catalysts organized in the news channel in our Discord. And that helps me go back at the end of the day and write this document, which honestly, I think is worth a couple $1,000s a month. So whatever you're paying for it, whether it's 200 or 300 or 100, whatever discount you got, you're getting a steal. I think you might be able to get something for like $70. I don't know if you look around or look for promo codes. But in any case, let's go back to trading. It's 11:40. We have 20 minutes, 19 minutes before the CEO of SNES comes on. Look at this AEO. I've been averaging up all day long. As I said, it's currently my largest position, excluding IWM. 14% position. Man, I really wish I kept those call options, but let's dig into this. 1950 is your next target. Did we clear this candle here? 1907, we cleared that. 1950 is the next target. 1950 is the next target. My target was $20 post the earnings, and it fizzled out after the second day. I thought we were going to go there and 2 or 3 straight candles right to 20. That's why I ended up reducing my position yesterday. Got a little bit shaken out here. But at this point, again, the move is resuming, and I have to go back to my original short-term price target of $20 after we break, hopefully, 1950. I'm not saying that happens today. I would love to see a light CPI tomorrow. Maybe that'll help this stock get to 20. But longer term, I have a $25 to $35 price target in AEO, and it's a big position in my retirement account. So AEO, big focus trading today. I did pick up some SNES this morning at an average price of $5.21 after the Home Depot news came out. So we'll look at that. The next resistance on SNES is 540, 542, 540. That's your next. Ooh, the RSI looks attractive. It's reset. It's not overbought. So we'll see. I mean, we're almost at 540. I can't wait to see what Joel Fruin says on this interview in just 15 minutes to see if he gives us enough nuggets to take the stock to the next resistance, which would be $6. So
wow, White Fiber is going crazy today.
Really?
Wi-Fi.
And I guess BTBT is also following. BTBT had a shareholder vote today, up 22%. White Fiber, it is going crazy. And then BTBT yesterday, I predicted for you folks that we'd hit $3. And there it is, hit 302, but I didn't play it. Someone asked me, they were disappointed with BTBT, or they asked me what's the price target. I forgot how it came about. But I'm like, don't worry, BTBT is going to $3, sparked by the NBIS news, but also the shareholder vote today, which I assume will pass or has passed, or will or has, it will today, in order to increase their shareholder count. Outstanding shares in order to do ATMs, in order to then buy Ethereum, because they're stuck. They reach their maximum share count and they can't buy more Ethereum. They can't use the ATM. So anyway, shareholder vote for that today. So dual catalyst here on BTBT being driven by that vote, and Wi-Fi up 23%. I'm currently not in it, but it hit my price target that I let people know in the Discord. Look at AEO still going. I'm so upset that I sold my call options yesterday, Rhett. But I'm up nicely on the stock today with all the averaging up I was doing on AEO. All right. Galaxy, another name I added as a swing yesterday with a break of the 20-50 day moving average and with the NBIS sentiment. Okay, so this one, I think 29.30 is the next target on that. BZAI, it's dipping. Let me check my current BZAI position. Okay, I'm not going to add here. We'll see if we get lower. But BZAI, $4 target on BZAI. I think not inflection point catalyst. And this was the inflection point catalyst, but the market didn't believe them on July 18th. It's been very frustrating stock, but we got, I'll call it, enough of a catalyst yesterday. Don't have time to go into the details. It was a B. Riley upgrade, and it was a big fund from Tencent taking a position. I think those catalysts were enough to get back above the 50 DMA. It's flirting with it 2 days in a row. Higher high, higher low. I think it's a shoe-in that will break up, that will close above the 50 DMA. If not today, tomorrow, but we're heading to 4th. That's the next target on BZAI. And don't even talk to me about Oracle. I've been bitching about it all day. I mean, I made $7,000 on it, but you know.
Would have been a lot more.
Yeah, I would have been. I was so close. Someone bought the call. I got to call my friend who bought the call options. There were call options I was looking at yesterday on our live stream, but I just didn't go for it because I thought they were too expensive, and I guess I was wrong. They're up 1,200% right now. Anyway, I'm not trading Hood. I own it. It's actually my largest position in my. I'm actively trading GameStop today. I made great money on it so far. Man, it's getting rejected by this purple line here. My last entry was $25. We'll see if it goes to like $24.50. Maybe I'll pick up more, but huge top and bottom line beat. Godfather doesn't like it. We just talked to him about it on Benzinga. He was not he's not so impressed with the thesis, but I have a little bit of a different view. I would have obviously been better if they have a conference call, if they have commentary of why the huge top and bottom line beat. You know, if we had color on that and if it was a good reason for why that happened, then the stock would be up 25% today. Look at AEO surging to the target. My. All right. Let's see. What else are we trading here today? LDI, big one. Thanks to Citron and the Godfather knows, keep pounding the table on this one. Man, I sold those call options. I just scalped call options on this. I should have, would have, could have kept them. Well, I bought call options at the low of the day, and then I was up a few $100. I'm like, all right, let's flip it. But man, I have an 8% common share position. I'm gonna trading around a core. I'm gonna sell a little bit here at 358. Hopefully, I'll get lucky and I can buy it on a drop again. All right, so just trading around the core. I've been good on LDI today, buying the dips and selling the rips. Not something I'm known for, but on LDI, that's working out today. Joby not working out today. Still in it. Got a big position. Where'd it go? Whoa! What was that spike? ONDS was a top pick in our newsletter this morning. Look at that. ONDS. Wow. ONDS, big spike. You can see in the newsletter this morning. I wrote as a trade idea. ONDS was a top trade yesterday. Worked out well for us. We bought the offering dip, $5 offering. So I'm expecting to move back to 6 by the dip. Simple as that. Yesterday, I had more commentary on ONDS about that, but yesterday was good. And I didn't act on this one. There's too much going on. And it's still, I think $6 is still a target, maybe even today. But yeah, I didn't act on that. Joby not working out yet on that Uber deal. Little bit more than a little bit surprised, to be honest with you. Much more than a little bit surprised. The low RSI, the magnet of the 20 DMA not working. Uber deal with the stock really pulling back from 20. I'm definitely very surprised. I'm losing on this one. I don't like it when that happens because it doesn't happen very often, and I get confused when I'm wrong. Right. So anyway, Rhett, I'm going to take, if you don't mind, can you take over for a few minutes? I just want to clean up, use the restroom for a couple minutes before
Yeah, definitely. Hold on, let me share my screen.
do
And
the
then
interview. You can share your screen, and I'll be back in just a few minutes. You want to put a banner up, let people know who are tuning in for the SNES Tech interview that they're not at the wrong place, right?
yeah,
Let them know that'll
definitely.
start at 12 p.m. I'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Let me find this. Hold on, guys. Let me find this banner real quick. And he's here. Awesome. There we go. Got the banner going. And let me share my screen real quick. Then I'll be right back, guys. Meantime, I think it's this one. I hope. Yeah, it is. All right. Well, I'm still in a couple hood puts at the moment. Starting to sell off. I think I'm in the 118s. We'll see. I'm up a few dollars at the moment. I picked up a few contracts. Let's see what else is happening right now. Anything with the indices? Nope, they bounced back, so they didn't hit that level. They reversed. Check out SNES Tech before the interview starts. Up 4.82% this morning. After that Home Depot, they're now on Home Depot online. That's cool. Really cool. So that is sick. And let's check out ONDS. ONDS is flying right now. Let's see news. Germany is said to approve 1.2 billion drone purchase from Israel. And I did pick up in my long-term account LDI up on it a little bit, but I was wanting to pick it up yesterday, but I just didn't get around to it. I picked up the 1219 350s. I picked up, so picked up a few of those in the retirement account. I'm going to swing that for the rate cuts and all the other economic news that'll be coming out here shortly. And let's see what else. If you guys want me to check out any other tickers, just put in the comments beforehand. And we have a few more minutes. We have 8 minutes till the CEO interview with SNES Tech. Oh, another one I want to mention. I think it's this. Yeah. Just giving kudos to Laptop Travel. He called this one out this morning in our community. He gave an alert when he entered. It was 174. And this thing, it was in 4 a.m. So let's see. He called it all the way back out here. So he had time to get in right around here. And this thing just flew right around 7 a.m. So that was Ben. Did you play this one or no?
No, I don't do the 4 to 7 a.m. trading. Maybe I do want to get more involved with it, but it's not feasible for me right now.
Yeah, I'm going to bed so late. This hood. I'm in hood puts. I don't know if you weren't here for that. But
No.
when I was hopping off the Benzinga show, I thought about it. So I bought some hood puts, and those are paying off a little bit at the moment on this move down.
Cool.
What else should we check out here? I'll share your screen again. Move. There we go. Oh, sorry.
Okay. So, man, do I regret not? I love trading ONDS. I've been trading this for 6 weeks, like intraday, and it always seems to work out. You could just every day just buy the dip, the dips are always work out great on
Great W today.
What's that?
Zoom out a little bit. Looks like a dub. The W on the 5-minute chart.
Oh, ONDS. Yeah, I see it.
See it.
But yeah, I had a $6 target on this thing. Might get there today. Man, I regret so much. But I did add it back to my retirement account at $5.30, which
So did I.
Exactly.
That was a nice move yesterday. So thank you for that.
So yeah, little regrets. I'm not playing ONDS today. There's too much other stuff going on. I forgot about it / couldn't focus on it. But anyway, all right, we got 5 minutes left. Let's see if there's any. Oh, well, look, BTBT. Wow, that's another one. I just could not be everywhere. Another one I missed. Hims, I made a little bit of money, but coulda, shoulda, woulda kept it longer on that news. We knew that news were coming. We sold the news. Market has been ripping this week. Progressive says, well, it's actually been maybe underlying stocks have been, but we've been in a
Overall,
little bit of
no.
a chop zone last 4 days. I think the market is actually consolidating and waiting for CPI. QQQ ripping more. Yeah, QQQ based on the big caps and Oracle and NVIDIA and NBIS and they're ripping more, but IWM has been in a chop zone waiting for CPI tomorrow. All
Larry's
right.
now the richest man in the world again.
Yep. Best day for work
Overtook
since
Elon.
1999. Tonex has been really disappointing. Bouncing off the 200 DMA today. Did it reach it? No, it reached 8. But this would be notable. If we get a green candle today, could be your turnaround candle with a low RSI, 200 DMA. I bought call options on TONX yesterday. Let me see which ones I have in case you guys want to follow. TONX, I have October 17th, 750 calls. So let's see. October 17th, 750 calls. The liquidity sucks on these things, but I just had to go for it. I got them for $1.09 because the break even on that 750 plus $1.09 is $8.59. We're at 8.24 with the stock. If there's just, even with no liquidity, I should be able to sell that for a profit if we do bounce up here for a couple dollars, which is very, very possible. Look at ONDS hit it. Oh my gosh. This morning I said $6 target today. Holy crap. And I didn't play it. Holy smokes. Look at that. Wow. And I didn't play it. Thank God I added it to my retirement yesterday though. Jeez.
Yeah, that was a nice pickup there.
Wow. Really should have played this today. It was on my list. There's just too much to do, man. There's just too much to do today. I got distracted by Joby and Oracle and GameStop, and I just didn't buy that. I was watching it on the live stream this morning. I'm like, if we get into the 530s, I think I'd like that better. We got to 539, but I wasn't even there that moment that it hit 539. I was looking at something else. But wow, this is actually going to hit my $6 target on day one. I think I said that on video, right? And wait a second, it's in the morning note. Let's look at that one more time. Let's see. And I kept it. ONDS expecting a move back to 6. Buy the dips. It just needed an exclamation mark. But wow, that is insane. What a turnaround on this stock here. Not surprised. It did this last time they did an offering. It also exploded like the next day. Wow. Unbelievable. All right, let's see. All right, we got 3 minutes left to the SNES interview. This is the first time I feel like we haven't talked to these guys in a long time. When was the last time we had an interview with them?
It's been a little while.
It may have been a month. It may
Yeah,
have been. I don't know.
so.
Maybe it was this candle on August 4th. I don't know. But you see, a lot of these big green open candles were dates of our interviews, and they just come with the goods, man. Look, we do a lot of interviews where the stocks don't react. SNES reacts because we always have a great conversation, and always ask tough questions, and always get great answers. And people love it. So,
And they've always delivered.
and they always deliver. And they delivered today with the Home Depot news. So, all right, 2 minutes and counting on SNES Tech. If you guys want to share the stream, that'll be great. Hit the retweet on X. Share it with your friends, family, colleagues, traders. We're getting started. And we're going to stick around for live trading until 1 p.m. So the interview will be 12 to 12:30 p.m. or whenever it finishes. If it's shorter, great. If it's a little bit longer, great. No problem. We're going to be here till 1 live trading. And I think it's time to start hitting that countdown music, right? I'll do that.
Good.
I'll do the countdown while you take care of anything else you got to take care of.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, here we go. Welcome back, Joel Fruin of SNES, SNES. I miss you. It's been a long time, Joel. How have you been?
It seems like it's been forever, Ben.
It does feel like that. I mean, we were really working with you a big, a lot of every day. It seemed like you had a lot of stuff going on, but it's been about a month, and we had big news. You dropped this big news on us here. SNES Evolve Rat Birth Control now available online at Home Depot. Obviously, we have to start with that. How can we not, Joel?
Very exciting news. And as we've spoken before, sometimes things take a little bit longer than you would like. We've been working on this for a while. We wanted to make sure we had things right. And we're able to launch on homedepot.com. So now we have our online presence. That's really, that's a big addition to it because of the footprint of Home Depot with their stores, but also the recognition they get and the amount of business that they do online. So we're really excited about being on there, and we're starting to get orders as we speak.
Oh, wow. When was it actually put on the site?
Just this week.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I would love to hear more about the inner workings of how this deal came about. Like how long, like if you don't mind sharing, like when did he first get in touch with them and how long did it take from start to finish to get this?
Absolutely. And, so one of the key things in that space, so when we talk about our 6-channel strategy, right, and so that retail and e-commerce, it's how do you get there? And I think one of the things that we talked about was with our sales team, bolstering our presence by using some manufacturers reps that have the contacts with large retailers like Home Depot and Lowe's. And we partnered with one, and they were immediately able to get us in and talking to them. So that happened about 3 months ago.
Oh, wow. That was quick. That was 3 months.
So for the last 3 months, yeah, because we were trying to get in through another way, and it just wasn't working. So we switched up our pace a little bit, switched up our partners, and got some immediate results. And when we did our initial line review presentation to them, they were really impressed by it because they have the full line of other rodent control products. And this is something that, of course, we focus on the birth rate rather than the death rate. So we're very unique in that perspective. And they all can see that there's a need for that just because of the rapid reproduction that you have in the rodents.
So how's that work with them? You had these meetings with them. Is that in person or just Zoom calls, or how do you do that?
Well, so we did it via Teams calls, Zoom calls,
Yeah.
and so you can get everybody on there. It's amazing how much more productive you can be without having to wait to try to get everybody in the same location, because a lot of their teams are scattered around different locations. Certainly ours are. And we're able to get everybody in for the initial intro and presentation, and then some follow-up about getting the product on, and then actually having to do the legwork to get us on there. So our team did a great job of working with their team to get the product up and running.
Okay. And as part of this process, do they look at your inventory or capital? Do they want to kind of make sure that you can deliver the goods? Is that part of the research they do?
They do. Certainly, they have a very thorough screening process for all of their vendors, and we fit in right with what they're looking for. It's even though we're a smaller company, but rapidly growing, got a product line, got the ability to produce on the production side if we get to the point where this really scales up quickly.
And how did they give you any indication, or maybe you already know, how will people come about your product? Do they have to, now it's on Home Depot, does that help you get additional sales just from people browsing Home Depot? Or do they have to have an intent that they've heard of this Evolve product before, and now just helps you maybe increase your sales? Because when they do a Google search or something, and maybe the Home Depot listing shows. So which one of those are true?
Well, I think all of them are true. We'll get people browsing Home Depot. We'll get people that are going to look for it. But certainly, as we saw with Amazon, our work starts now because that's our job, is to how do we get people to understand that the product's there, what it will do, and then how they can purchase it. So we've
I mean,
got.
did they give you any indications of, look, if we're going to add you here, going back to that earlier question I had about inventory, is it like, hey, if we list you here, you can expect a minimum of X amount of sales, be ready for it, do you have the inventory for it? Is there any data that, when Home Depot adds another product, do you have any visibility at all of how this might impact your sales over the next quarter or two?
Well, certainly if we can look back and we use Amazon as, the basis point. And we started out there, we started out small and we've gotten bigger and it keeps growing. And it's because of the work that we've done there for search engine optimization and, how people will find the product when they put in a keyword. And so we expect the same with Home Depot. There are no expectations right now as far as, we're going to get to this level, because we're going to see how it goes online. And then, of course, then the bigger picture, too, is we're always looking then to expand that from being online than to getting into the brick and mortar.
How do you know that was my next question?
I don't know. I've just been able to read you over the last few months.
You know what? That was actually the main thing I wanted to ask you about this interview. Is this the first step into getting into brick and mortar? Is that a discussion you've had with them? Did they give you expectations of, are there certain goals you need to achieve while you're online in order to then get to Home Depot? What's the brick and mortar? What's the process, and what did they tell you about how that might progress?
Well, certainly they think there's some opportunities with the product, and they allow it to go on their site online. And so we'll be monitoring that over the coming months to see how sales are going. At the same time, we hope to continue discussions about, okay, where are the pilot stores that we can take a look at putting the product on the shelves. And of course,
so the next step is pilot stores.
I think so. There's nothing definite there. The first step is, we got the product onto homedepot.com, and we're all going to be monitoring the sales levels there, and we're very optimistic about it. I think they're very optimistic about it, and then in the meantime, try to set the stage for further discussions about how it may look on the shelves in at least some of their stores.
But that's culminating the actually getting online. Was that part of the discussion? Is it like, hey, we're going online because we hope you're going to do well, or we're looking forward to seeing how this does, and then maybe we can get you in the stores? Or is that like nothing to do with it, and it's like, okay, you just launched this, we'll see how it does, and if it does well, you go back to them? Like, how's that? How are those?
Well, our discussions have always been about, okay, let's take the first step. Right. Yeah. To get anywhere, it's kind of like with New York City, right? And I'm sure we'll talk about that. Yeah. It's like, let's take the first step. Let's get it there. Let's get it on the site, and then let's monitor it, and then let's see what we can do to expand it. Because certainly they want to have products that their customers want available to them, and that's whether it's online or in person in the brick and mortar. So we got the first step accomplished. We're really excited about it. We think there's going to be some really big things that can happen there because of the amount of business that they do online, and then use that as a stepping stone to further business.
Okay. Any updates you can give us on brick and mortar? I think you've been in brick and mortar in Ace, and some, not all of them. Like, is it being pilot tested at Ace Hardware?
Yeah, we're still working with Ace, and we've been able to get some good business from certain Ace stores over the last quarter. We had an increase. Certainly since then, we've gotten more in. We have ongoing discussions with them about getting into their distribution centers. So we think we're getting closer there. In addition, we announced last month about our affiliation with Bradley Caldwell, who services retail accounts in the Northeast. And that's going along actually better than expected. They stock the product in their distribution warehouse, and they're now shipping product out to, they service more than 8,000 retail outlets in the Northeastern U.S. So small mom and pop grain and feed stores, as well as small retail shops, very diverse. So we think we're going to get some really good exposure with our product to places that we just really couldn't reach by ourselves. So that partnership has really given us the entrance into those retail stores that we wouldn't be able to otherwise.
And how about other like big box retailers like Lowe's or Tractor and Supply? Any other ones where we may be close to getting into brick and mortar from those big names?
Well, I think that you just have to stay tuned on that. We're in discussions with all of the major ones, and of course, it takes one to start, and then others view that as okay. Well, we should get into the game too. So I think we'll have some more to talk about here over the next 60 days for sure.
Oh wow! Next 60 days, breaking news, guys. Next 60 days, more to talk about. I'm writing that.
Well, that's right. You keep me to those very specific things. Okay, yes.
Next 60 days, more to talk about for sure. I got it. All right. Now, Joel. Oh, Tom Chesterman's here, CFO of SNES. How you doing, Tom?
I'm doing well. We were having some computer issues, and your associate helped me get back on. So I'm here. Although I'm just here to provide comic relief. Joel's here with her story.
Glad to have you here. Yeah, I'm trying to pin Joel to the corner again, Tom. That's my job.
Oh yeah, okay. And I'm supposed to go down and start banging on his door, saying no.
All right, cool. I just want to go back to, I know so much to talk about, but going back to Ace Hardware, you mentioned about those pilot stores, and maybe it looks like maybe some metrics are improving, but what needs to happen, or what's the possible timeline of having, or is it even in the cards to have like a full national distribution of all the Ace stores? I have one in my local Ace right here in my community, so I'd love to be able to walk in there and see it there. Is that in the cards?
Well, certainly that's where we're building towards. And what we're seeing is that we'll have certain stores that will start stocking the product, start selling the product. Actually, we have a lot of them that are starting to use the product around their locations. And what we see there is then they start talking to the Ace corporate people about, we got to get this into the warehouse, into the distribution centers. And so we're in the midst of that process where, okay, where is it going to be stocked, and and when. And but what we're doing is we're building these great customer relationships with the ones who are progressive and really see that, okay, there's a need for products that are humane.
So Ace, it sounds like it's a little bit of a patchwork of you're dealing. Is it a chain, or is it a franchise?
Well, so they have, for example, we have, one owner, the franchise owner, that has 12 Ace stores.
I see.
And so what they do is, they'll get it in, and they'll say, okay, this is a product that, we really like, and we want to have available in the distribution center, so that when we order all of our other stuff, it can just be added to it. So right now we're doing drop ships, but we think that getting into the distribution centers is certainly a key factor for us. And we're
so it's not like there's one aha moment where corporate says, look, this is going to be available everywhere. It's more about getting into different regions and getting into different large franchise operators. Is that how
it is? And getting into their distribution centers is key, because then it's available when they order all of their other materials from them, and it's drop shipped to them as opposed to drop shipping. So we're certainly getting closer towards that goal.
Okay. All right, great. There's so much exciting stuff to talk about. I know that a lot of people are in this stock because of the municipality business and what could happen with New York City and Baltimore and Chicago, et cetera, et cetera. And I will get to that in just a minute, Joel. But first, with Tom here, I want to discuss all the recent financial things that you've done. I guess Tom should speak to this. You went through a series of raises. I would love to get an update at latest numbers that you're allowed to give us in terms of what your cash balance is, how much you raised, outstanding shares, warrants that are still outstanding. If you could just give everyone an update on that first, and then I have a follow-up.
Well, it is not just recent. This is actually a plan that we started at the beginning of the year to really do a series of transactions using registered warrants as our entry into it. We started it early in the year, and we ended it in early August. As of, I think it was August, the last transaction in the beginning of August, we had about $11.7 million in the bank. That's at our current run rate. Obviously, it takes us, when we're burning about a million a quarter. That takes us, to the end of 26 and beyond. I think is the way the lawyers wanted me to put it into the 10Q. But it's a significant amount of cash that really allows us to step back from the constant financing every couple of months, do another dilutive financing, et cetera, et cetera. And one of the things which we've noticed over the years is that companies that have this that aren't yet break even and don't have enough money to demonstrably get to break even have this financing overhang on their stock. And we think that's gone now, because we clearly we're close enough to break even. And I know you're going to push on that, but I'm going to resist. But we're close enough to break even. And with that amount of cash in the bank, we can confidently say that, yeah, we think we can get there with the resources we have and to spare.
Okay.
And,
yeah.
And Ben, if I can add to that, it's this is the first time I've been here 3 years, the first time where we have a significant runway ahead of us where we don't have to worry about raising more capital. And so we're really taking that, focusing on, okay, how can we really execute on the business? Last Evolve was 94% of our up 94% year over year and over 80% of our business in the last quarter. And, how can we really expand on that and really execute?
Okay. And, sorry, Tom.
Let me keep going with a couple of points. You asked about the share count and everything. We have 5.2 million shares.
Go ahead.
And then we have 3.2 million of warrants.
Wait, Tom, you broke up, or maybe I missed you, or maybe I spoke over you. What was the outstanding shares after all the transactions?
5.2 million shares outstanding, and 3.2 million warrants outstanding, of which 2.2 expire in November of 26 at 525. So these are, clearly available to us as long as we continue to perform, which we are. And that would be another $11 million, which would come into if those were exercised.
So all the 3.2 million, they're all at $5.25?
No, only 2.2 of them are.
Oh,
the rest of them are actually closer to the money. I mean, they're in the money. It's like I can't remember.
480.
480.
Yeah. The other ones. Okay.
So, and why they haven't exercised yet, I don't know. There may be issues with the people that hold them. I'm not sure.
They don't need to exercise. They can hang around for a while. When you get to $10, maybe then we'll tell them to exercise. How about that? All right. Runway, you have all this cash. Has it helped you? Is it an important factor in getting any deals? Like when you deal with municipalities or the big box retailers, is that something to look at? And now that you have all this cash, are they more likely to do a deal with you because they see you're well funded and can handle inventory?
Not really. They surprisingly, they don't necessarily look at that explicitly. Okay. There's been some talk that maybe some of the big box guys are, want to make sure that you're around and sustainable, but it's not something that's been talked about overtly yet. But it is definitely something that we are going to be marketing to them as another plus point, saying, it's safe to work with us. We got enough cash. It doesn't come up explicitly, but it's certainly part of our new arsenal.
Okay. And now that you have all this cash laying around, right? Like you said, you have a long runway of a couple of years, but that's at your current, burn rate, which we'll get into the profitability question. But my question is, are you tempted, Joel or Tom yourself, have you looked at this cash and be like, oh, now that we have all this cash, we could do all these things that we've dreamed of for years that we never did. Let's spend all this money in marketing or building something or buying someone. Has that come into play at all?
Well, I'm practicing not yet. No, not yet. No, not yet. But I mean, certainly, everybody's got an idea as to what we could spend, but we're trying to be extremely disciplined and saying, if it's not going to get us to break even faster, it's not necessarily something that we want to do right now. Joel, you want to comment?
Yeah, I think really what it gives us is, you look at from a manufacturing and an operations perspective, it's okay. What do we need to do to have continuous improvement here? At our plant here today, yesterday we had the largest production day of pounds in the company's history of our Evolve product. And so that's the type of thing that we're doing. And then how do we build additional lines, look into some additional ways or different ways of doing things. And it's nice to have that cash available if we want to invest in the company in a way that will really improve our efficiency.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And I guess now, Tom and Joel, this is where I push you on that question you told me that you can't answer, and then we'll get into municipalities. All right. So previously, you had told us that in, I don't know the exact wording, but you're like in 2026. I don't think you mentioned which quarter, but you're like in 2026, you think you can get to break even. Is that correct? Is that what you guys previously said, I think?
Yeah, we said in 2026, and the exact timing of that certainly will depend on things like, okay, what's the pace of the larger orders that we expect to get? So
got it.
There's some variables there.
And if we were to, hopefully get, the sooner the better. If I'm a shareholder here and I just can't wait for you guys to have a press release that says we can now guide for whatever quarter that we're going to be profitable, we're going to be break even. Like, I can't wait for that personally. I own a lot of your stock, by the way, in many different accounts, in my retirement account, corporate account.
Thank you.
All over the place. Yeah. And like, that's something I'm waiting for, right? I'm waiting for that, whether it's in a press release or in an earnings release or in a conference call, that you guys are able to say that, we now have enough visibility in our forecast over the coming quarter or 2 quarters that, we're going to get to break even by Q1, by Q2, et cetera, et cetera. If that's what I'm looking for, what is the most likely, variable or upside optionality that can cause that to happen? Is it a municipal deal expanding? Is it, getting into Home Depot? Where's the most likely source of that kind of surprise sooner, getting to profitability rather than waiting for potentially the 4th quarter of 2026? Tom, you like the way I put that?
I like the way you put it. It's really good. And I'm thinking that when we do make that announcement, we really ought to do it on this show because, you deserve it.
Thank you, Tom. Beautiful. So, Joel, what do you think? Where would that come from if there were to be a surprise that can bring us to break even before the 4th quarter of 2026? Where would that come from?
Well, so about 6 weeks ago, we were doing an investor call, and I really like what one of them said. They said, you really have a lot of shots on goal. The more shots on goal you get, the more likely you're going to be successful. And so when you look at it, take e-commerce, right? So we got on Amazon a year ago, started building that. It's now at a nice run rate. We had HomeDepot.com, our SNEStech.com e-commerce site. So there's a huge shot on goal there because that's going to continue to grow, and we've got some really good strategies on, okay, how can we really expand that? And then you look at agriculture distribution, right? So how are we going to get the product to our customers? We've got some really good ag distribution that's set up now. We have some field trials that are ongoing. And I think I mentioned this on the last one. One of the things that when you look at the business and you say, okay, what has to happen in order for us to be able to sell the product? Well, you got to get the regulatory approvals, right, by the states. Then you have to have people say, I want to use it, and they want to do their own field trials. So it takes a little bit longer. But once you get to that point where the field trials have proven things, then you're set up for growth. And we're getting right to that point in poultry and egg production, sugarcane production, as well as the granaries. So there's that. Then, of course, in pest management, we're starting to get regular orders now, and not just small orders. We're starting to get regular pallet orders for different pest control opportunities. And, I mentioned theme parks the last time, amusement parks.
Oh, that's right.
Since then, we've gotten reorders.
Ooh.
And that's the key point is, okay, start using it, then do you get the reorders? And we're really pleased with what we see about the reorder pace. So that's between ag distribution and pest control. That's another huge shot on goal. Our international business is expanding. We have just received an order for Belize because they found that in their location, in their little country there, is that there's some real issues with rodenticides and poisoning of other animals. So they're moving to this. So that the international arena and the things that we have going with the approvals we recently have in New Zealand and Australia, that's a the worldwide rodenticide market is $4.5 billion. The U.S. is about $1 billion of that. So we've got a huge opportunity out there. We're really getting to the point where we're starting to get these approvals, and once you get those approvals, then you'll start seeing larger orders. So that's another huge shot on goal. We just talked about retail, and imagine if one of the big box stores said, okay, we want to put this in 600 of our stores. So not trying to avoid the question, but we don't know exactly where it's going to come from, but we know it's going to come from the shots on goal that we have. So that's why.
But you didn't mention the municipalities and all of that.
Well, and so municipalities, when you look at that end market, would come under like pest control. But
I see. Okay.
Municipalities, as far as on the distribution side, will come through the pest control distribution. But I want to talk separately about the municipalities because there's some really good things that are happening there. I think you saw the release we had a few days ago about now in Chicago, we have another SSA, Old Town, that started using the product. And I mentioned this before in Chicago, Wicker Park keeps reordering because, as one resident pointed out, we're seeing what we used to see in a week for rat activity, we're now seeing in a month. So there's much less activity out there. So the product's working, it's bringing the population down. And the other SSA, so there's 55 of those in the city of Chicago, and the other 54 are taking notice of what's happening there because you can't keep doing the same thing and if it's not working. And that's just talking about killing them. With Evolve, you get to control the birth rate, which then gives you a much better opportunity to use all of your integrated pest management tools to really control the population even greater. So we've seen the expansion there. I know you don't like to talk about New York, but I want to talk about it.
No, that's. I mean, all my brain. There's a special spot in my brain that's New York SNES, New York. It's always there, and I'm always in the background thinking about New York and SNES.
Well, their pilot program is in full swing. They've done more expansion since we talked about the last time. And the one constant variable is they're getting 100% consumption when they put Evolve out into the marketplace. They're doing some controls and a few other things, but the one constant is that they're getting consumption with Evolve. And once again, all they're looking for is consumption because they know, based on all the data and the lab studies and other field studies, that if they get consumption, the product works. And then it starts controlling the population. And then you can be much more focused on, okay, how are you going to get total control here? So good to report there. We have a meeting next week with the team there. So we're anxious to get some updates on maybe some expansion into other areas outside of West Harlem.
You heard it here first. New York City meeting next week with SNES. I've probably asked this question 100 times in 100 different ways, but I've always had this hope, and I'm sure I'm not the only one, where is it not in the cards to one day wake up and get a press release that says SNES rodent control to be deployed in all Chicago neighborhoods and all New York City neighborhoods, bringing in X millions of dollars a year in revenue or something like that. Does it not happen like that? Or it's just going to be very small incremental movements up and no big press release?
Well, It can happen in a number of different ways, and it can be small and incremental. We love those because it starts snowballing. We love the large orders. When somebody says, that's the product we need, that's what we want to use. Talked about the theme parks, and when you start to see the orders on a regular basis. So it certainly is in the cards. We think that it's going to happen in a number of different ways, including some large users that are going to step forward.
Can you just
Let
relist?
me
Yeah,
add one thing in there, Ben,
go ahead.
because I think it's important to note that those small announcements are also driving growth in e-commerce and in retail. So, for example, in the Chicago area, we're seeing a surge in orders from the other channels.
Interesting.
Same time. So it's not just the municipalities are looked at. You're not the only ones looking at municipalities. Other customers are as well, and we're seeing this spillover effect into the other channels coming from these efforts.
Can one of you just relist for people who are maybe not familiar all the full list of the municipalities you guys are in now?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got. I'll talk about the major ones where we have programs going on right now. The first one being San Francisco, with our partner Pest Tech that's out there. Just reordered. They're having good success there. In addition to that, the Oakland Zoo recently placed a multi-pallet order because they did their own little pilot project and said, this is the product that we want to use here. So to Tom's point, when you start getting some success in the municipal side, it expands to other areas. Los Angeles, we're doing programs there. We've been working with the LA Zoo now for a couple of years, and we're starting to see that go into more and more of the municipal programs that are in and around Los Angeles and Los Angeles County. Of course, Chicago is just huge for us, and we're starting to see the result of the progress that we've made, and the result being that we're getting more and more that are going to use it. Of course, in Baltimore, they did things a little bit different. They said, well, this is a product we want to use. And they have a pest control company that they've contracted with. So we're in contact with them, and they're using the product on a regular basis now and reordering product.
There was one of the cities where there was a press release that said full-scale deployment. I forgot which one. Was that Baltimore? The full-scale deployment?
Yeah, I mean, certainly in Baltimore, yes, they're starting out and they're expanding rapidly there. Okay. We've also had some interest from Washington, D.C., so we're in the midst of taking a look at that. New York, and then the Boston area has been really good for us. There's Somerville, which is around the area. They're starting to be a repeat user, and we just got a pilot program set up with another municipality that's around Boston, and they're focused on schools because they don't want any poisons at all around their schools. And they're looking at Evolve as the way to do that and still get the control they need.
Mm-hmm. And out of all of these, you got San Francisco, Los Angeles, Chicago, Baltimore, New York, Boston, and maybe it looks like conversations in DC. Are you able to tell us which one of these municipalities currently right now are giving you the most revenue?
Well, certainly it's Chicago, because we're starting to see that the repeat business there. And the way that they did this, their two-pronged approach is they started putting the product out, and then they made the product available for their residents to purchase. Oh, wow. And now we got residents purchasing it online, through Amazon, through SNEStech.com. So we're starting to see some real acceleration there.
Okay. And in any of these municipalities, are there any one of them, or which one is the closest, you think, to deploy this to the whole city next month? Get those pallets ready and send it over all to us. Like, are there any of those cities that's looking at it in that way, or are they all kind of looking at it incrementally?
Well, I think they all look at it in their own way, and that is that we need to get control. So once they start seeing that they can get control, then they start saying, okay, now we got to accelerate this. So you can see that in a lot of these different cities, and it depends on their timeline and what they're looking at. But the main point is, if they're getting the control that they need, you'll see the orders come, and that's what we're starting to see.
Okay, great. I mean, I tried to work around trying to figure out, can we get to that break even before Q4 2026? I guess we have to wait, Tom and Joel.
You'll be the first to know.
All right, I can't wait. What else? Is there anything that you want to talk about that I didn't ask about?
Tom, you got anything?
We've talked about how laser focused we are on this particular product for rats and mice, but we haven't stopped thinking about other things too. And so the other area that we're at least doing some thinking on, we're not spending any money on it, but we're thinking about some of the bolt-on additions we would move towards. The attractants, the repellents. These are things which are, given our existing production capacity, we could add these on very, very little cost, and there may be a real demand for them. So we tested one of these bolt-on products in a location. Looks like it's working pretty well. So you might see some announcements about that too, as we begin to expand to very, very similar areas.
Okay, sounds good. It looks like
that's the key point, is that when we started putting Evolve out into the field, there was such rapid consumption of it. We said, this is a great attractant as well. So we've been working with some of our international customers on saying, okay, how can we develop a similar product that's an attractant that they can use? And there's a lot of interest there.
All right. I see Rhett backstage. I don't know if you put your video on because you want to ask these guys a question or throw in a comment, or they're just getting ready for the next segment. I don't know, Rhett.
No, yeah, I definitely have a question for Tom and Joel. So whenever I'm in Florida, and whenever I walk around, everywhere I go now, like if you look on the floor, you see black boxes everywhere. So like, no matter if you're out in public at the restaurants or where it is, like, what are you guys doing to try to target that like mass audience? Because I mean, it's everywhere I go in Florida.
It is, and it's all part of pest control. And I bet for all the people that are online right now, the next time you go out, go around and look, and you'll see the black boxes, maybe gray boxes in some cases. That's part of our pest management distribution strategy right there. It's like the people like the Orkins and the Rent-A-Kills, and then the smaller ones. And how do we get the product to them? And we use our distribution partners like Viserys and Target Specialty Products and Forshaw, because that's their customer base, the pest control companies, and they can get to them. And that's how you start to see it accelerate, is that they're already doing these things out there. It's how do you get our product in there and remove the poisons, or make it something that is an accessory to that for an integrated pest management control. But yeah, it's a great point, because they're everywhere, and if you don't stop and look at it, you'll never notice them.
I tell you, if people look down, they'll notice.
I'm going to channel our chief revenue officer here for a moment and say, every time you see that, you should go in and tell the manager, you really don't want poisons. You really ought to look at something that's not, some addition that's effective and safe and all those sorts of things. Hey, have you heard about Evolve? So yeah, try to talk it up a little bit.
And the other thing too, I was going to say, is with kids walking around, I mean, if a parent doesn't have them supervised at the time, they go grab the little box. I mean, there's poison in it. So, I mean, even too, if you guys like rebranded your boxes a little bit to have it all bold, like no poison or something up top, I think that would also be huge as well.
Great point. We've already
been. You don't always lock them either. I was at a Trader Joe's and I, saw the black box. I opened it up. The poison was right there. It wasn't locked. I went into the store manager and said, "Do you realize you're giving poisons to anybody in the parking lot?"
Jeez.
Unleash your inner Karen. Go after the.
Awesome. All right. Sounds great, guys. Pleasure speaking to you guys. I can't wait for the next updates. Hopefully, like as you alluded to, Joel, something hopefully significant maybe in the next 60 days, I hope. And then we got the earnings after that in November, I think it is, mid-November. So look, and can't wait to become a SNES Tech millionaire.
Ben, always a pleasure to be on your show.
Thank you, Joel.
It's always great to really tell people what we're doing and do it with people that really get it. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Tom, and everyone else. Stick around. We're going to play this outro music. We're going to continue live trading here for the next 20 to 30 minutes. Thanks, everyone. There you have it. That's the SNES Tech interview. You see the stock. A little bit of sell the news here. I don't know what people were expecting or looking for. I thought it was a pretty positive interview. I guess we do have those warrants out at 525. So I wonder if we're going to have some pressure at 525 until enough of you decide to break through their resistance. Maybe that's what's going on. I don't know. But in any case, I didn't hear anything bad. I only heard good stuff, I think, and I'll be holding my long-term shares. Brett?
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt. I mean, every time I go out now, I make it a point to just like look down and count. And each time I go out and count when I go out in public, I'm seeing like at least 5 to 10 boxes. And I'm just like counting in my head, okay, there's $30, there's $30 for them and stuff like that through the year. So I'm like, if they could really capture that mass market and partner with all of these pest control companies, I think that would be huge for them. Because I mean, I don't want to be out in poison. I mean, I'm sure you don't as well with your kids as well. I mean, I don't have any kids, but with your kids, you don't want them touching poison as well. I don't want to be touching poison. So I think that'd be a huge thing to try to adapt there.
All right, let's continue with our live trading here. While we're gone, I see, unfortunately, Joby back to full gap fill from yesterday's close. So that trade not working out for today. TONX, man. Rhett, I think maybe the bottom might be in. I'm thinking of adding more. Let's see what we got going on here. What's that?
And then did you see some prime lender tricolor files for Chapter 7 bankruptcy in Texas?
No. Why? Oh, what's that have to do with? There's which one? What's the ticker?
I don't know. It's Tricolor Holdings LLC. I don't know if they're publicly traded. Colex tagged us.
Okay, I don't know. But in any case, TONX. Let me see. I wonder if Fidelity allows online orders yet. I'm gonna try. Let me see what happens. Let's see what Fidelity says here. No, I got to call in. You still got to call in, but they let you do the call options online, which is weird. Okay, let me.
Strange.
Yeah, I know. Let's see. TONX. I'm in the 750s, which now have an intrinsic value of 1. I got in at $1.09 yesterday. Oh, now there's a $1.10 bid. It's a $1.10, but it's not showing here. It shows on Fidelity. Weird. My Webull is not showing the correct bid ask. It's at what? It's actually a $1.10 by $1.50. Why is Webull not showing the right numbers? I don't know. I don't know why Webull's not showing the right numbers. But let me see. Let me see if I can. October 17th, right? Oh no, I'm in the wrong one. No. October 17th. That's why. There we go. Oh, it's 121, 150. Last trade 145. Up 16%. Okay, there it is. So this is the only easy way I have to trade TONX because of the Fidelity restriction on the commons. I'm gonna look at this. I may try to increase my position on the 750s. They're in the money. Wait, just what happened? Something just happened.
Qs are about to make the low a day.
That's nice. It doesn't matter. They could do whatever it wants. CPI tomorrow at this point is going to determine what happens.
Exactly.
But there's some action in these right now. I guess some of you viewers are buying it at 140, 136. I'll be transparent with you. I have a bid at 120 right now that I just put in to see if I can double my position. Okay, so I'll check in on that in a bit, but happy to see finally what looks to be like a beautiful green candle bouncing off almost the 200th EMA with a very low RSI and a NAV of $11.90. It's just ridiculous. So we'll see what happens with that. Okay, SNES, a little bit of sell the news action continuing with the Home Depot on the dip somewhere in here. But looks like today was not the day where we explode higher on the interview, which has happened so many times, but not today. Okay, let's see. TONX, Joby. I just so regret this. I gave you guys a $6 target this morning, and I didn't play it. There's too much going on, too many opportunities, and this turned out to be one of the best. But I got more interested in some of the other opportunities. Some working, some not. Like AEO is working, and GameStop has worked, actually, even though it looks like it hasn't. But yeah, had some really good entries last night. Some good dip buys here on GME, so that's working. Joby.
Looks like it's setting up nicely again, to be honest.
GME, right?
Yeah, I'm liking the chart.
And I know it's basing out here, and it's trying to break above this. Where is it?
We need volume to pick up, though.
Yeah, it needs to break above. I mean, it looks like it's getting ready to break. Let me see the 5-minute chart. Let me see it without extended data. Let's check the 30-minute chart, 5-minute chart. There's not a lot of oomph with this today.
No. I think if we would have got more clarity by having a CC, I think
oh yeah,
that would have helped out significantly.
I mean, nobody knows why the hell they beat by such big numbers. Maybe there's an SEC filing that has a management discussion. As of last night, it wasn't there. Maybe today they filed. Should we just check that in real time with you guys? Let me do that. All right, let's see.
Check it out.
GME. Let me add SEC filings. Okay, GME SEC filings. Tuesday, September 10th. Form 8 and Form 10. What are Form 8 and Form 10? Did they not do 10 Qs? What is a Form 8 and Form 10? I don't know. Hold on. Let me go directly to Edgar. Let's see. Let's see if we have something here. Okay, GME. September. Oh, it is here. What? September 9th, 10Q. Oh, Benzinga didn't have it, but it's on SEC, so it was here. Let me see if there's a management discussion that tells us why their revenue went up. Overview, our physical business investment policy. On March 25th, retail games are actually focused on in connection with our efforts to achieve sustainable. We continue to evaluate international assets during fiscal 2024. Cost containment efforts helping their EPS, it looks like. Net sales increased. Why? Does it say? During the 3 months ended August 2nd, net sales in the Europe and Canada segments decreased. So the Europe and Canada decreased. Hold on. So what increased so much? The net sales in Australia and the United States increased by 60. Wow. Huge increase of sales in Australia and the United States. 60% year-over-year increase in Australia, 32% in the US, and then decreases in Europe and Canada. So weird. The increase in consolidated net sales for 3 months ended to the was primarily due to 140 million, 100 to 140 million, or 31% increase in the sale of hardware and accessories, and a 63% increase in collectibles. Oh my gosh. This was partially offset by a 26% decline in software. Man, their business has really changed year over year. Software down significantly, hardware up significantly, Australia and US up significantly, Europe and Canada down significantly. I don't know what the hell's going on. The decrease in net sales in our Canada segment was due to the divestiture of Canada. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so they sold off something in Canada. Okay, so that's not as shocking anymore. Then the decrease, and Europe also. Canada and Europe was because they closed or sold off operations in Canada and Italy and Germany. Okay, fine. That's starting to look a little more consistent now. So the growth is a huge shift to hardware and accessories, and big growth in Australia and the US. Let's see what else it says. But no discussion on why. He was just telling you the numbers, what changed with their product mix, what's going on macro-wise, that's causing this to happen. I have no idea. And that's it. I think that's all we're going to get. So shed a little bit of light there, but it's not enough for me to understand what the heck is going on. But anyway, look at AEO surging to our target. Next target, 1950. Let's pull up that 30-minute chart with extended hours data. 1950, next target. Man, I wish I didn't sell the call options, but glad to have a big common share position. All right, so AEO surging to our 1950 target. ONDS surging to our $6 target without me, sadly, except in my retirement account. I'm going to keep that at the top of the list in case we have an entry up on a dip. Like if it just like someone just dumps and it goes to 570, maybe I'll pick some up. But honestly, I think it's going to 6 tonight. I don't know, Ray. It might be worth it to. I think I'm just going to scalp a little bit. I can't do it in size because I'm late. But just I just to be part of it, yeah. Because I think you're going to 6, if not in regular hours and after hours. So I'm just going to pick up a little bit for a scalp to 597 or something like that. Okay, and if we get a big dip, I'll add more. All right. Okay, so that's AEO and ONDS. I guess TONX, we're looking for that. Rebound daily candle. Okay, I'm bidding on some call options. Ooh, I didn't expect SNES to go this low. I'm stuck in some shares about a 521. Okay, let's see. Joby failure. I think I have to sell Joby for a loss today. But how many times has this happened to me in the past couple of weeks where there's looks to be a big catalyst and you get a gap and fade all day and then you just explode for the next 2 days? It's happened so much, and I don't know. How do you know if that's what's going to happen this time, Rhett? My practice has been to sell and take the loss. One case that I didn't do it, and it was Alto, because the Alto earnings was so good, and then the whole day I'm like looking at it, like my mouth was open agape the whole day. Look at this. This is crazy. And I had call options in Alto, and I also had common shares.
We're at a nice support here, but I don't know. I got stopped out. I put a stop loss in, and it hit.
Alto, not Alto. Alta. All right, hold on. I got to talk about this Alta to see if there's any parallels. This day here, I ended up losing money on Alta, even with the next day green candle, because I ended up selling the common shares for a loss. I held on to all my call options, and I actually bought more as it was dipping, and then I was able to get to break even on the calls the next day. If I kept them throughout the day on the next day, it would have been a 10-bagger return, right? So this behavior, this price action has been very, very, very common since August. For whatever reason, you're seeing sell the news, sell the good news, and then you explode the next day or two. In NBIS, it happened the same day. You sold the news for a couple hours, and then it exploded, like here, all right? It was only an hour actually before it reversed. And it's every stock's a little bit different. There's no hard and fast rule. I mean, Oracle just exploded. It didn't pull back. It just kept going. So I don't know, Rhett. Unfortunately, there's no like consistent signal to say, hey, when this happens on day 1, definitely hold for day 2.
If we knew, we would be pretty wealthy.
Yeah, my practice has been to take the loss. It also was an exception because, like as I said, I was just like, that was a great earnings report. I'm like, there's no way I'm selling this. Let me wait one more day. Joby, I don't know. I may have to take the loss on this by end of day. We'll see. Okay, so that's Joby. AEO still moving to the target. ONDS moving to the target. The GME and Joby are kind of a little bit dead. I don't know. I'm thinking of bailing on GME and Joby, right? Maybe even now or soon. Because if you look at like GME and Joby, GME's a little better.
Below that support, I think. Yeah.
Honestly, it's like ONDS is going to 6. Like, why don't I just go into even up 7.8%? It's another dime.
That is very true.
There's no way it doesn't go to 6 at this point. But it might happen in after hours with less liquidity, though. Anyway, what else? BZAI. What's my position size in that? This is about the time of day where I start cleaning stuff up, and sometimes I make a mistake. It's 12 to 1, and you get these pullbacks, and I'm like, this isn't working, and let me bail on my losers. I can't tell you how many times it's just come right back a couple hours later, and I ended up selling it like low of day. That happens a lot. Yet I'm still up 500% this year. But BZAI is another one where I'm looking at this. I'm like, the Momo's lost its Momo. It's back below the 50. Do I really want to be in this for the rest of the day? So I'm thinking about cutting Joby and BZAI and GameStop. And I'm thinking about adding more to TONX and ONDS. Let's see that. It's going right. Yeah. It's going right there. It's going right there. I mean, I know it seems crazy that it's going right there. Like, but that's just been the behavior of the stock. It has vicious, very violent rebounds after drops. I just bought more. I mean, I wish I did it this morning when I recommended it to everyone with the $6 target, but 10 cents is 10 cents. And AEO, man. So AEO and ONDS looking great. TONX maybe starting to turn around. But Joby, BZAI, and Game, I'm thinking of letting go. I'm still in LDI and Galaxy. My goal, my plan was to swing Galaxy to 29.30. But I don't know. I might also just want to take some risk off the table because I'm in IWM calls for CPI tomorrow. So maybe that's enough risk. Maybe just thinking about it out loud, maybe what I need to do, maybe I do need to take the risk off the table on these individual stocks at this point. Made a lot of money on GME already, made some okay money on Galaxy. I hope I'm still up on BZ. It doesn't look like it on this chart, but I might still be up on BZAI. Let me see, because I had some good exits and re-entries. Let me just check. BZAI. No, I'm down on BZAI today. Oh, I was up on it. But yeah, I'm really thinking about taking the profit on Galaxy, getting out of GME because it looks like it's going nowhere and I already made big money on it. Selling BZI because maybe it's failing for today. Selling Joby.
ONDS really wants to break right here.
Yeah, and it's gonna break, and it's big bid at 50,000. 50,000 bid at 580, even more. Lots and lots of bids at 589. Much fewer asks at 590, at least on level 2. Not that that means too much. Sometimes it works, but other times the bigger players are hidden.
Broke 91.
There we go. All right. So at this point, there you go. So yeah. I mean, I'm gonna put a sell order near 6. I'm not gonna tell you where.
I'm gonna front run you. No, I'm kidding.
What are you gonna do?
I said I was gonna front run you.
Oh, but I'm not telling you exactly where I'm putting it. So could be 599, could be 6, could be 598, could be 595, could be 596, could be 597. Not gonna tell you where it is. All right. What's that?
Someone's asking if we're buying the mine dip.
I talked about that earlier. If you go into the VIP trading room and you search Mind, it'll give you my full. And I listened to the conference call today, and I gave my thoughts on that. So, and you can also ask the Godfather knows what he thinks about it, and see if it jives with what I think about it. But look at Cypher and BTBT, man. I'm in Cypher in my retirement account, but not in the trade account anymore. So I can't believe ONDS hitting the $6 target that I issued at 6:45 a.m. Same day. Same day. And I didn't play it till just now. All right. Yeah, man. I'm thinking of selling a lot of this stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna start cleaning up my account. Look. When I do this, like I said, I'm often selling at the lows, but we also have the risk of CPI tomorrow.
There you
So
go.
I'm actually selling my IWM common share position. I'm keeping the calls. I had expected IWM to be up and to the right all day. So as far as I'm concerned, my prediction failed on IWM today. All right, so I deserve the loss on that, but I'm keeping the call options for next Wednesday, 240 strike. Okay. So that's one thing I just cleaned up. Should I take the profit on Galaxy? I don't know. I love the Galaxy chart so much. Galaxy, if we have light CPI tomorrow, like Galaxy might gap up like $1 from like between 8:30 and 8:40, or maybe more. Let's see what it did this morning at 8:30 on the light PPI. On the light PPI, Galaxy went from 2670 in a couple minutes. The thing is, Rhett, I'm in IWM calls, and I feel like I have too much risk exposure if I'm staying, because I was adding IWM calls most of the day today.
Yeah, I would be careful there.
Yeah, so that's my risk, right? I don't want to be.
Yeah, you don't want to be over leveraged.
I don't want to be in too many other specific stock risk assets tomorrow if I have the IWM bet for CPI. I sold the common shares at IWM at the worst time. I had a huge position. Oh my gosh. That's like $300-400, right? I had 1,000 shares of IWM. Holy crap. Oh, at least I have the call options. LDI is pumping on that. GME is pumping on that. Galaxy. All right, cool. Getting some pumps so I can get a better exit on some of these names. Oh, and yes, 594.
Getting there.
Didn't quite get to my sell order. I have to say, if I wasn't live streaming on Benzinga, if I wasn't so busy, I would have probably hit ONDS a little bit sooner. It looks like it was during the Benzinga show that it really started taking off. Yeah, it was during the Benzinga show that it started taking off. And then our live stream into the SNES Tech interview. Yeah. Anyway. Let's try to make a few bucks there. Okay.
I gotta log
what's
off.
that?
I gotta log. We gotta end the stream here pretty soon, so I can start clipping all that together.
Oh, okay.
'Cause I gotta
Oh, it's
report.
1 o'clock. Yep. We're supposed to be live till 1. So if you want to join our community, head on over to storytrading.com. Are we out of discount codes, or are we still doing that?
We have no active promo codes at the
Okay.
moment. so.
Fine by me. We don't need promo codes because honestly, I spent hours writing that newsletter every day. And this morning I'm like, honestly, it's worth a couple $1,000s a month. So yeah, I don't love it when people get in for 60, 70, 80 bucks. I really don't. So goodbye. If you want to join us, head on over to storytrading.com and pay full price.
See ya.
Take care. Bye.